Coronavirus. What is it? Most pictures look like finger licking candy.
Of the importance of following the government's guidelines. We must stay at home.
So these are not microscope images. Maybe these, but the rest looks like drawings. Computer generated images. So this must be the one. Wiki coronavirus. Yeah, this one is total crap. So what is this? Electron microscope can only record in black and white, not in color. We can find many info about electron microscopes. In this case it's a TEM, and that TEM stands for transmission electron microscope. Images are black and white. I'm here on the website from the CDC, and here we have an image taken with an electron microscope from some bronchitis virus, digitally colorized, and this was taken in 1975 with a transmission electron microscope. I wonder why Wiki uses this image from 1975, because that's the same image I found on the CDC website. This is the image from the CDC 1975, and here I made it black and white and inverted the colors, and here is the Wikipedia image. I make it a little bit transparent and scale it down. And that's the same image. Why they use this 50-year-old electron microscope image from some bronchitis? It's always called the coronavirus, but this time it's called the new coronavirus. And they feed us CGI images like this. I wonder why all these sites show a so-called coronavirus from almost 45 years old. Don't we have new electron microscope images? Why they manipulate it like this? I've seen all kinds of colors. Why they twist this around? This is the same picture, but only twisted. Here another one, that is the same, and here another one. Same trash. Why they not use the new coronavirus? Here again, they use it everywhere. Image of an electron microscope. Why they don't tell it's a 45-year-old picture in this article? Can I see some real electron microscope images? What is this? Rotavirus. No, I want coronavirus. The new one. What is this? It sounds like coronavirus. Ah, this is from 2013. Updated. June 22, 2013. I want a fresh one. Maybe the CDC have some. Ah, maybe here. No, this got nothing to do with the coronavirus. Oh, here, maybe this one. Oh well, this must also be some coronavirus. Highly magnified, digitally colorized transmission electron microscope. That quality not improved much since 45 years. Foundation of virology. Let's see some images of viruses. You cannot see those with a regular microscope, so this must be an electron microscope. Here they use again this image from 1975. So both pictures are taken by the same guy. Why they use pictures from 1975 to show us something? That's idiot. Why we don't have something more recent instead of this old trash? This was taken by Fred Murphy and Sylvia Whitfield. Fred Murphy. And how do we know this is the real shape of a so-called coronavirus? Because an electron microscope more or less destroys the sample due heat and due high vacuum to direct electron beams. We all know what vacuum do with marshmallows. The column containing the lenses and the specimen must be under a high vacuum to obtain clear image, because electrons are deflected by collision with air molecules.
The environment inside an electron microscope is incredibly hostile to the living cell, so it needs to go through quite an elaborate process to enable it to survive that hostile environment. Firstly, we have a very high vacuum, and if you stick biological samples into a vacuum, they'll just escape very quickly and be destroyed. We have a very high energy electron beam which is required to be able to penetrate to the sample. When the electron beam strikes the sample, it gets very, very hot. It can get up to 150 degrees Celsius where the electron beam actually hits the sample, so it needs to be able to survive that very high temperature. And lastly, we need to be able to cut a very, very thin slice of the sample to allow the electron beam to pass through. And if we have a biological sample that's still full of cell water, then we aren't able to cut that very thin slice. It's a bit like trying to cut a thin slice of a tomato. You just can't do it. So specimen preparation is really important to meet all those criteria. One of the very important things about specimen preparation, of course, is that after all that preparation, the sample still must be as close to the living state as possible.
So we hear the man. A virus is of course not a living thing, but an electron microscope will destroy it. The temp causes problems for biological samples. And that is because of its high energy. This beam passes through the sample and the temperatures can reach 150 degrees Celsius. And the SEM microscope, that's just another type of microscope, also destroys the sample, but it uses a different technique. With this microscope you need to paint your sample, and then the electron beams reflect off your painted sample. Then you can see only shapes. Only the sample preparation will destroy your sample, and then destroy it some more in your electron microscope, and then show us this. What we see in this image can be some cell that is totally destroyed by heat and by vacuum. And maybe that crown-like thing around this cell is just because of the heat and the vacuum. It popped out the cell. They cannot show us an original shape of a virus, because they must destroy it before they can see it. This is pseudoscience. Snake oil. And are all those biologists stupid to go along with this? That whole medical science hangs on the thin wires. I don't think doctors and nurses are the smartest people on earth. They are just stupid. And this they teach in the schools, in the universities. So here kids, this virus can make you die. And then they show this garbage. The vacuum inside an electron microscope is important for its function. Without a vacuum, electrons being aimed at the sample would be deflected, knocked off course, when they hit air particles. But liquid water, which is abundant in biological samples, evaporates immediately in a vacuum. If this happens, a biological sample would vaporize in front of your eyes. So there can be absolutely no moist in your sample. Fixation and dehydration is an important step in preparing samples for the TEM and SEM. The SEM microscope, SEM, is not fitted to produce those images we see from the coronavirus. With this method we need to make sure we have a coating on the outside that is conductive. The SEM microscope works a little bit different. The SEM visualizes the surface of an object, and this needs some killing preparations also.
Batter coating is popping a really thin layer of metal on top of our sample surface. The layer we'd use is between 1 and 10 nanometers, so it's nice and thin. It's not going to cover up any of the sample, but it's going to add a nice wee layer so the sample becomes conductive. If the sample's not conductive, we won't see anything. So what will happen is the electrons that land on the sample and go through the sample can't get away to Earth, so they build up inside the sample and cause artifacts, which we call charging. So we'd get our sample, attach it to a holder so it's attached quite firmly. We'd load it into the splasher coater, shut everything up and create quite a high vacuum in the coater. We would then pass a voltage over the top of the coater where the metal target is sitting, and that creates a little electric field inside the coater itself. We then bleed gas into the chamber, and the gas molecules get all excited and they kind of hoon around and knock little bits of the target material off. So those little bits of target also move around inside the chamber quite randomly, and they find their way and land on top of the sample, creating quite a thin layer.
And then we put it in the electron microscope in high vacuum and much heat. This is not very fit to scan biological samples. Yeah, radiation damage in TEM and SEM. Affect organic and inorganic sample during examination in an electron microscope. I love science. Diarrhea virus from 2015. So this one causes diarrhea. There is not much difference between bronchitis virus and the shitty diarrhea virus. So this is all you can do, showing us destroyed material, and pass it off as dangerous. Science is just full of shit.
Hi, I'm Christopher Catani, and I'm here to introduce the new anti-SARS-CoV-2 antibody test, lateral flow, for the detection of both IgM and IgG antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Let me describe a little bit about the kit. The kit comes in a PK50, it's room temperature storage, comes with 50 cassettes, and a running buffer. There is no special equipment required. The specimen type is finger, stick blood, serum, or plasma. The test needs to be performed by a licensed medical laboratory. So now I'd like to just take you through the procedure. My faithful subject, Jay Hardy from Hardy Diagnostics. And Jay, would you mind if I borrowed your finger? Okay.
Gentle, Chris.
I will. So you can see here that we're going to need a pipette to dispense the sample, which is 10 microliters. We're going to open up the package. You can see on the cassette, it comes with 2 lateral flows and 2 wells, one for IgM and one for IgG. We'll be placing the specimen in the well. Now we're going to add 2 drops of running buffer, and we're just going to let it sit now at room temperature for 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and read the result. Okay, it's been 15 minutes, so let's look at a little interpretation of results. So you can see here there are 2 lines, the control line and the test line. You can see that the control line for both IgM and IgG have both come up positive. If they did not come up positive, then you would know that the test is invalid. Down at the test line, you can see that they're both negative for IgM and IgG, so no antibodies have been detected for those 2 antibody types.
How do you know how antibodies look like? Let me see if I can find one under an electron microscope. The CDC must have some images of antibodies. That looks like grains of rice. So this is an antibody for some kind of typhoid. Same thing. But this is taken under a normal microscope. So this stuff must be way bigger. Because regular microscopes only magnify 1,000, 2,000 times. Antibody staining technique. Maybe some of these. This is also taken by a regular microscope. I want to know how a corona antibody looks like. A photomicrograph of a liver impression smear tissue sample. No results. I want to see a corona antibody. Maybe I can find some virus antibodies here. So is this taken by an electron microscope? And this dark spot is antibodies? Or a cell? That's interesting. Electron micrographs of antibodies of the Epstein-Barr virus. So this must be the virus, and then this is antibodies. How can you tell? Maybe this is because your electron microscope messed up the sample. It looks like two eyes. Dutch researchers find coronavirus antibodies. I not have seen one. Show me. Unique find in Erasmus MC. In Holland, antibody against corona. Show me frauds. Here a 30-minute corona test. Yeah, looking for antibodies. Yeah, we're working on a quick test. Like this stage photo. Stop breathing over this equipment here. And keep distance. In Holland, those nurses and doctors don't like social distancing, it seems.
And
So, You must help him. Put on his gown. And breathe in his neck. This is not social distancing, clowns. So we need always 2 persons to put on one single gown. And why your dirty hair is not covered up? It can catch lingering coronavirus.
In principe is de gang is helemaal schoon. En hoef ik dus ook niet de hele tijd in een pak rond te lopen.
So she's telling us she don't have to wear a gown and a mask in the hallway because the hallway is clean. So she never heard of lingering coronavirus. This is just a pure mockery. And look at 19 next to that guy. COVID-19. This is a pure mockery.
Met name 's avonds en 's nachts gaan mensen kunnen snel achteruit gaan. En daarom is het prettig dat je ook echt met z'n tweeën bent. Dus je staat nooit alleen.
What's so funny about this clown?
Rondlopen.
So this hallway is totally clean. No virus can come lingering out of this room. The Chinese coronavirus could spread through the air even after an infected person has left the room. Scientists, coronavirus also moves through the air. Yeah, it can spread by lingering in the air. Yeah, stuff like air conditioning or a simple draft can cause the spreading of this dangerous virus. Walking in and out of rooms is already dangerous. Walking in and out of those rooms can create a draft. And now they show room 14. 19 and 14 is 33. Always the 33. So this clown telling us there is no viruses lingering in the air. That hallway is totally clean. Yeah, coronavirus can float in the air. Up to 3 hours. This is what scientists from Princeton and the University of California say. And the National Institute of Health playing a role in this also. They must be very smart people. So this thing is lighter than air. And can defy gravity. Yeah, coronavirus can linger in the air. But it can also linger on surfaces. Up to 9 days. If this coronavirus have some reality, then this hospital and the hallway would be a dangerous place. This is just duping the light. Why this is not done in a sterile lab? Because you can breathe on the sample and pollute your sample. Why not wear gloves and a mouthpiece? Maybe you're looking at your own breath after scanning. Here, this one also breathing over the sample. And this one don't wear a mask. You're polluting your sample. So how can you be sure you're looking at the right stuff? And what about DNA? That all looks CGI to me. DNA image with electron microscope for the first time. Maybe those holes came into this DNA because of the vacuum and the high temperatures. Pseudoscience. DNA under an electron microscope. Destroyed material. So this is also DNA. Looks like shit to me. H. Electron microscope. Same trash, CGI or destroyed material. Cancer, electron microscope. What is this? This looks like a CGI. And destroyed material. They just make fun of us. Vitamins. That stuff they put in pills to make you healthy. Looks like kid drawings to me. How can you put this in pills? And the doctor advised you vitamin pills. It's kids' drawings. And what about regular flu? Same trash, CGI or destroyed material. And they give you all kinds of medications to cure those broken, destroyed cells. It's okay to go to the hospital for a broken arm or leg or a slash that's kind of bloody, you know, and get stitches. But this other side of medical science just stinks and is made up bullshit. And we have hundreds of thousands of people working in this fake science industry. So are they all stupid? Can I have some chemotherapy for this fake CGI cancer? Please give me some chemo. Anyways, I'm going to leave it here. I'll leave some links in the description box, but you can easily research this yourself and see how science is full of trash.
How you like that, you fucking cocksucker?
Pieces of shit.